Hello, BookTube. Welcome back to another Friday Reads Live with me, the incomparable Mark, and the inimitable ShawnDStandfast. So, hey, Shawn.
Hello. You with your hair like that, all I can think of now is that Australian a guy goes, "Hey, aunts," and it says, "How you doing, aunts?"
I wouldn't
And
worry.
he's
There's nobody watching.
yeah, uh, and it's like he's got two or three teeth, and that's about it.
Yeah, well, it's just how I am. Oh, okay. Summer's watching. Hey, Summer.
I saw it.
Oh, and Zap is watching. Hey, Zap. So, I guess Friday reads.
Yeah,
Mr. Standfast,
again.
what have you read?
Yeah, I didn't read too much this week because I haven't been feeling too well. I planned on a lot
Look, look,
more.
look,
So.
look, look, look. You read more than me, so don't say, "Oh, I haven't read very much this week."
Well, I got all this extra time. You don't,
That's
so
true.
that.
That's true. That's true. That's true.
Well, like on the weekend on Saturday, uh, I read this. It was for Will Sean like it? Freeman sent it to me, and it's a prequel to a series, "To Sleep in a Sea of Stars." I've heard of the author. I guess he's really popular for when he was in his teens writing a fantasy series, and
Yeah, I have to
there
say,
was
actually, one of the little girls at school. Well, I say little girls. What is she? She's probably 12, I suppose. She's reading one of his books. Big thick,
Aragon or something like that.
probably.
Aragon.
Yeah, the title was in Czech, but I thought, I know that author. So
Yeah, like there's intriguing stuff in here, but I don't. He's a light hitter for like he just takes things and just repackages them, put them together. There's nothing, or at least in this one, like I say, the big book is To Sleep in a Sea of Stars, which is about 800 pages. So that might make this better by reading that, because this
what
was
they
a bit
linked,
of a
are they,
learning
or
tough.
it's
What?
the same series, is it, or what?
Yeah, this is like a prequel to it. What the hell was that? That was weird.
It's a notification telling you I'm live.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's just anyway. So yeah, so it's the premise. I kind of like stories like this. There's nothing new about it. It's like a group. They got to go on a journey for something, and they have conflicts, and they have secrets in their past that it's the usual thing, but it can be fun. I always find that thing that it can be fun. And this was interesting, and the universe was kind of interesting. There's little things that he talked about that were interesting, but it just sort of just was limp. There wasn't a whole lot to it, and
Mm.
and the whole thing is like it's like they got to do this thing because of EMP pulses, electromagnetic pulses. No, that's not right. I said electromagnetic pulses, but just electromagnetic pulses from this anomaly, but their drones are shielded for that for some reason, but they don't have anything else that's shielded. And I go, don't you read your science fiction? It's always EMP that screws everything up. So be prepared. I want to tell the characters, haven't you read your science fiction?
I was going to say, actually, you probably know which book I mean. You might as well leave. I think probably the second one you're going to talk about. You might as well leave for the end, because then it will segue nicely into mine as well, because we read the same book. So let me just check the comments briefly. Hey, Aaron, good to see you.
Hello.
Happy Friday to you as well. And Jenny's here. Hey, Jenny, nice to see you. Evening all. So, okay. I guess the third book is finished, but okay, no, go on.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that it was enough that I do want to read to Sleep in a Sea of Stars, just out of curiosity, because there's a few things that are quite interesting in here, a few ideas that are interesting. that I want to see how he develops them. And then, well, I'll leave that other one. For June on the Range, I read Jubal Sackett. It's the fourth book, I think, chronologically in the Sackett series. It's one of the longer ones. It's like, usually he's not over, just barely over 200 pages at most, but this is 300 and some. And because I wasn't feeling well, it took me several days to sort of read it. And I enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. Other than there's just the usual issues with his writing, and it's sort of, he's got anachronisms, but he's trying to. In the end, he talks about this and he goes, "Oh well, no, that's actually real," and it's like, no, it isn't, buddy. Yes, it's a tale, but okay, fine, you put it into the story.
Is it actually in the correct era for the Westerns, or is it more kind of the pioneer?
It's frontier. It's frontier.
Yeah.
But it's still Western, sort of. That you could still class frontier Western because they're going west. He's going west, so why not?
Sorry, but looking at me because he's throwing this behind my back.
But yeah, it's like I like things. I like a lot in it, and like I'm going to do a video about it to talk a little more. But there was one thing that I was kind of excited about because he was talking about how he has the urge to, look at what beyond the mountains, sort of. And then he says once everybody, runs out of the mountains and rivers to go down, they'll look to the stars. And I just thought, carry on the series and have Sackett's in space.
Yeah, Sackett's in space. Yeah, brilliant.
I just thought it'd be great. Like, the first astronaut is going to be a Sackett. The first man on the moon, a Sackett. First colonists, and doing all this stuff, and getting FTL, the first faster than light speed, will be them, and they'll be heading up the Galactic Empire, the Sackett Empire.
I want to ask a question of you, actually, related to cowboys, I guess. I mean, you don't hear, or at least maybe you do, but I don't remember hearing much, because I know, like, in Canada, you have obviously native Indians. No, not native Indians. Sorry, defeats the purpose. What are they called? First Nations? No, Native Americans. Yeah. But you don't hear about cowboys in Canada. Even though I know they have like the big rodeo thing in Calgary, but you never hear.
That's where it would be. That's where it would be. It would be out west because
you never hear of cowboys and Indians in Canada, really. Like
there's a reason for that. There's a reason for that. In the States, people went out and explored and homesteaded, and then the law came.
Right.
In Canada, the law went first.
Right.
So you can just figure out how that would work. The RCMP, the Royal Mounted Police, went out for Royal Canadian.
The Mounties, eh? Yeah, because I got really interested in the can I say? I can't say Indians. What do I say? Native Americans. I got really interested in them, and I was reading up about like what they were doing in the Civil War and stuff. And quite a lot of them actually bizarrely sided with the Confederacy against the Union government, which was really, really intriguing, I thought. So yeah, anyway, let's just go through the comments before you, or if you've got a last word about the Sackett, sorry.
Yeah, well, it's just a few things, because the way he does treat the natives, Indians, as they're in here. And it's interesting how he does this, because he's looking backward, obviously, as a writer, creating a character that is of its time, but also has some of his forward looking and thinking about what it would have been like, because there must have been people that thought, well, we can live together with the Indians, and work together, and but there's going to be some that don't want to, and then there must have been people, because there's always people that stand out of their times, but they're probably they're no one, and they've forgotten. And so that's what this guy is. He's one of those unnamed people who says things and is forward thinking. And he reads. He loves reading. Well, he doesn't have any books, but he misses reading, you know?
Yeah. No, it's funny because one of the books I'm going to talk about later, this pair has a conversation. It's like, what do you think about mixing the races? The two people talking. And he says, I don't mean different colors. I mean Scottish and English.
Yeah. At one time they would have been, yeah. So
well,
yeah,
actually,
I'll go to the
it was even worse. It was like also Highland Scottish and Lowland Scottish as well. So let's just check the comments. Where are we up to? Zap's just beginning their day over in the old west. Sean, are you in a 1-room or 2-room accommodation?
It's 1 room.
Don't mess with the Mountie. Is it too cold for cows in Canada? Jenny posits they could be hairy ones like hers. Like theirs. Sorry, Jenny. Dear, I've only been drinking tea. Quakers. Okay, Summer, you'll have to elaborate.
Well, where I lived for most of the time, there are Mennonites, and it's interesting. We do some archaeology and we go into the Mennonite areas. It's like when you go in there, when you drive into these areas, because they're off sort of grid and they're not off grid, but they're off the beaten track, and it's as if you are walking back into 300 years ago. It just even the feel of things. They don't have electricity. However, the women in the summertime are slaving over the hot stoves in the house cooking meals for their family, while the man is out in his machine shop that has electricity and air conditioning. That's okay. That's okay.
Because Summer actually lives in a part of America that has Mennonites and Amish. She's mentioned them before. And speaking of hairy cows, I had to laugh. There's a girl from this town here, and she's gone to America for the first time. I don't know if she's gone for like 3 or 4 weeks with her parents. I mean, she's like 20 something, and she's got. I think it's her uncle is living out there, and they're living again in the West. It's like Nevada, Arizona, somewhere like that. And I guess they're at Yellowstone National Park because she put on her Instagram today, and she put woolly cows or furry cows or something like that, but it's buffalo, so it just made me laugh. That
that's the other thing I want to say. Jubal Sackett gets a pet bison.
Oh, it's a bison.
He makes a saddle for it. And he makes a saddle.
Or is it a woolly mammoth? Because Freeman
mentioned... Well, there is a woolly mammoth in here. Yeah. That's where he's stretching it there quite a bit, because it's like, yeah, there are native stories, but there's really no evidence, I don't think, for anything for that. But he is.
Sackett meets Professor Challenger, is it?
Yeah, but the thing is, like, he does talk about, like, in, I'm not sure if it's the end of this or in the this year that Roy Reads Anything sent this to me. It's a companion to the series, and he talks about. Well, it's a good thing he's talking about pot hunters who destroy archaeological evidence that make, the pot's nice, but it's nice, it's pretty, but it doesn't tell you anything because it's out of context. But he says that a lot of times, if it doesn't fit what is sort of known, it's sort of forgotten, pushed aside, which is somewhat true. It's not fully true with archaeology and stuff, but it is. There are things that are anomalies that come up, and they just go to scratch, because he talks about finding Roman coins. And I think there is some evidence of something like that, but it's probably contaminated. Somebody dropped it.
He finds Roman coins in the first book, in Elizabethan England, and he finds them again in North America.
Yeah.
Okay,
but there has been coins found. But you see, the thing is, sites can get contaminated by later times and with stuff, or it could have been Spanish or others in there that dropped them, because people have holes in their pocket. They drop things, they lose
and of
things.
course, with all the treasure moving around the New World, I think it's the fact that it's gold was more important than what actual currency it was or how old it was, right?
Yeah.
Hi, Winterland. Jenny says that Scottish and English mix is called Newcastle. The reason some are referred to Quakers was as they are people who were ahead of their time and lived in peace with the Native Americans. And Zap grew up around the Amish. And Hannah says the indigenous peoples of British Columbia are referred to as First Nations. So, and so do I take it there really are no Mohicans in Canada anymore then?
I don't think there were any.
Oh, it was a made-up thing, was it?
Well, not in Canada, I don't think, because unless because they use Iroquois. Iroquois. What?
Last of the Mohicans is Canada.
Well, it's basically Iroquois, I think, is the correct sort of grouping for things, because I think if memory serves, and that's the thing that's
guys were the Hurons, right? In that book.
Yeah. Anyway, and then the next one that I read this afternoon it's a very short. There's like 4 of them in here. It's Frank Reed Jr. and his Steam Man of the Plains, robots in the West, and it's the usual story. And it's like they've got an Irish guy that is so stereotypical, and every derogatory way to speak. It's like he always is saying "bejabers," and occasionally "begorra" is thrown in. And then there's a black guy as well, and he just says the usual things, But the only thing is that they're treated equally to, like, the character, the boss. It's Boss Junior. He's treated equal. They both are, except they're comedy relief because they bicker between each other. But it's the same as the stories that I've read before. Something comes up, he's got to go out west, and then this time it was to no man's land, but there's ranches there, so it's not really no man's land. And then they meet Comanches, all Indians, all Native Americans. And these things are savages. They don't speak other than a gibberish that nobody can understand, and they shoot everyone that they see. It's like that's the type of thing. It's a dime novel for kids, and it was published in the boys.
This is the American version of James Malcolm Rymer. Then this guy, he's the guy who wrote like Mysteries in New York, isn't he, or something? You said, or is that the one, or is it somebody else?
No, he didn't. Did he write that? Or no, the guy who wrote Mysteries of New York is this guy, Ned Rundlein. Yeah, and
I knew it
was most prolific.
I knew it was one of your robotic things. So.
Well, that's not robotic. That one. That is Western. Yeah.
But steampunk. It's just a Western.
Yeah, sort of. Yeah, this is early steam. Well, it's real steam. It's a steam man. So Yeah, but the thing is, it's funny. It's like it's absolutely totally like the guy had no information. Like they go into a village. It's like apparently, I guess, Comanche little grouping there, and they first say teepees, and then they're calling them wigwams, and I'm going, no. Wigwam is completely different. That's northeast. It's not a longhouse like the Iroquois had. It's just a smaller more sort of roundish thing, and there's not a teepee, obviously.
Yeah, I came up. I forget now what the name is for those Indian domicile, the where they live. It also begins with W or something.
Well, it's wigwam is for the
There's like
northeast.
a wickium or something. It's been in two of the books I read. They or two of the stories I read by, maybe it was Elmore Leonard. He discusses what the and it was a new word for me. It wasn't wigwam or teepee, and I was like, and then I watched James Stewart in Broken Arrow, I think it's called.
Yeah.
And they called it that as well. And I was like, Jesus, I've never heard of this word before. And now
what is it? What is it? Because I can't think of what it is.
I don't know. Entertain the crowd while I have a quick look through my Elmore Leonard.
Yeah, because I can't think of what that is, but because every culture sort of then, and they had different styles of domicile, because it depends. Like the Plains Indians used teepees because they were more mobile than other ones. Like the Iroquois stayed for decades at times, possibly in a village, so they had their long houses that and they're also called they would call them lodges as well. I can't think of what other name that is.
No, I don't know either. I'm not making it up.
No, I just can't think of what it is.
Well, I mean, it doesn't matter. It's probably not important to the people watching. They'll get bored, but I'll look it up and I'll tell you later.
Yeah.
What we got here? We got a question for us. What do you fellas think the price of used books online? When I used to buy books before the internet, they were mostly reasonable prices. Everyone thinks they are a bookseller now. Oh, hang on. Sorry. Let me just interrupt that question because Jenny has come up with the goods and it's a wiki up.
That's basically a wigwam.
Well, yeah, but it was just a word I never came across before. No. Well, then saying that, though, in Broken Arrow with James Stewart, they're definitely not wigwams. They're almost like cane. They're almost like a Native American version of like the Zulu huts.
Yeah, that's a wigwam.
I thought a wigwam was like the teepee with.
Wigwam is it has sort of wood structure on the side, and then it's bark. It's covered with bark and everything, mostly, and hides. And it's a little more permanent than a teepee.
All right. Let me just quickly do the greetings there. We got Yuri. Hey Yuri, nice to see you. Right. We got Zap saying Hogan is Navajo, so that's probably the name of something else. But Jenny definitely got it there. Yeah, that's definitely the one I was referring to. That's in a couple of the things I've seen recently, but never heard of before. So what do you think about the price of used books online, Sean, given the fact that everyone now thinks they're a bookseller?
Well, it's partially that the prices are all over the place. It's not so much the prices that bother me. It's people that don't know how to describe books and think that everything is perfect, and they don't tell you it's an ex-library, and they either, it's the prices are just so wild, and I don't know if they're more expensive now because you can get a lot of good deals, but it's sometimes Russian roulette because you don't know where you're going to get with condition.
Well, I think the thing is, it's opened up the availability of things by putting them online. You can sit wherever you are in the world and maybe be able to, because before you'd have to rely on what your local secondhand bookshop had.
Yeah, or you get catalogs, or you sent away for catalogs.
But whereas now you can buy it from anywhere in the world as long as they list it online.
When the databases started, Abe and other ones started. There, when I started listing books, there were less than I think 100 people on Abe, and you put something up, and you could put a pretty good price on it because people were sitting there and could never find it before, so they were willing to pay a price. So some people would put high prices on stuff that were selling for $50 or $100 then that wouldn't sell for $5 now, because the people generally, the term rare is overused and misused, because people would say scarce or uncommon. Well, yeah, in a lot of areas, books, you may not find books in that area, but they're common other places. It's like we got books here that you can't, it's maybe a little hard to find in the United States. Does that mean that they're rare in the general term? No, they're not. It's just you can't just find them in that one area. But people use this thing, oh, it's a rare book, and it's like, I've got books that are 3 or 4 copies that have been made because they are things that have been posthumously printed of somebody who died, poetry, a family member who's died. That's rare. That is rare. But who wants it?
Well, they were talking about in our boxer groups, weren't they? About, I think, was the Edge, is it, or Edge books or something? And they were saying like, I think Greg was saying like, people trying to sell these things for like $15, $20 a book or something, and it's just, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, the only time you could say, because it's something like that, is that if it's in perfect condition and most of them are worn out, then and there's only a couple that are listed that are in perfect condition, then that's you can charge extra for the condition. You can charge extra for the condition.
Well, when Zap says, everyone thinks they're a bookseller, they just don't have the knowledge. They just assume because something's old, it's valuable.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's like, it's old, and old to a lot of people is 1980s.
Steve's old, but he's completely worthless.
Yeah. But it's just, everybody thinks they're a bookseller, but they don't know, and they just don't know how to describe stuff. And I hate this thing as new. A new book, you can get a new book that's damaged. It's new, but it's damaged. So therefore, you've got to describe it as things, and there is a way of doing it, but most people don't even know what that means anymore. When you say fine or near fine, but even seasoned booksellers, I love it when they say, "Oh, it's fine for its age." It doesn't matter. It's like it's anyway. Well, I can go on for hours.
I hope it's going well in your yurt. Bizarrely, I actually had a dream about Steve Donahue last night.
I think I'll just take a break now.
Don't worry, it didn't involve the old Odeon in Leeds or anything like that. But it was really weird. I can't. I hate it when you can't remember the exact details of a dream. But it was quite bizarre. I somehow found myself in Boston, and then the really weird thing was, as I say, unfortunately, I just can't remember all of the details. But I actually bumped into 2 girls from school and their parents, and I thought, this is weird. Why are they in Boston? As well. And then I was just hanging around, and I thought to myself, hang on, there's something, I should be doing something when I'm in Boston. And I met Steve walking Frida, and then we were talking, and then I said something like, there's something I should be doing. And then I ended up in like a dream version of the Brattle Bookshop. I've never been there. I've seen pictures of it, and I think it somehow kind of pieced together in my mind. But it was just bizarre. I mean, there was no rhyme or reason for me to be there. I mean, unless I'm like got envy over the likes of Micah and others who have gone, and which I kind of do, because I would like to go, of course, to the Brattle, and of course see Steve and Frida. But it's just weird. I don't know why it happened to just pop into my mind, at that time. Zap says people are asking absurd prices. Yes, they are indeed. Now, Zap, are you talking about people or books? Simply because they're over 50 years old, they're rare or valuable. Are you rare
Well,
or valuable?
something can be 10 minutes old, and it's rare and valuable. Rare, that has really nothing to do with age, and a lot of times it has to do with the creation of something that that booksellers can do, by creating a demand for it, and booksellers have been doing that for centuries.
Yeah. What do we got? Well, Zapsu said the same issues as you have. A lot of your books arriving damaged.
Yeah.
From Amazon.
Yeah.
What would
Freud? I don't think I've got a book from Amazon in years that has some sort of damage on it of some sort.
What would Freud think? Yeah, God knows. I think Freud would have a field day with me anyway. If something is rare in the US, it's by definition rare because the US defines reality for the rest of the world.
It thinks it does, but it doesn't. That's the one thing that's what I was going to talk about. Louis L'Amour, he seems to think that like Jubal Sackett in 1620s is an American, and he calls himself "I'm an American," and all this, as if this is the be all and end all of the world.
I was actually just watching before we came on air the Dad's Army episode, My British Buddy. If you've seen that.
Well, Steve was talking about the Omdurman campaign or something in some book, and I was sort of thinking of Jones from Dad's Army. He was there.
Well, he was, because I've been watching one a day because they're all on YouTube. And the one I watched last night was they were having a drink and they were talking about what was he talking about? Yeah. They got Fraser, Godfrey, and Jones got in an argument about being old, and Fraser said, "Well, I might be old, but I'm not as old as you." And then Jones said, "Well, hang about, I'm not 60 yet." And then Walker spits at his but he says, "Blimey, you told me you were in the first Sudanese campaign to relieve General Gordon in 1884.
Yeah.
You must be nearly 90." And he said, "Well, I was a boy soldier." Boy soldier? What'd they do? Pin a medal to your nappy? Brilliant. Yes, maybe I do. But I've got a summer holiday coming up, so that's good. I don't know if you are being sarcastic or not, Yuri, about my dream. I just couldn't remember it very well. Omnipotent Poobah says it's a total minefield. People who don't know the difference between a first edition, first impression, and a first edition, thus 17th impression, not knowing the importance of a remainder mark, etc., etc., etc.
Yeah, well, the first edition, thus, is a very, very overused and almost meaningless term. All it means is it's not a first. It just means that it's a reprint. It's a reprint. That's all. And it could go into many printings after the reprint. But yeah, first edition. And
Steve says Frida's only been to the brothel once when she was a tiny baby. The shop owner's wife is always asking me to bring her in again. Yeah, why don't you? You should. It used to be that a normal, easily available used book was half the cover price of that particular book.
Yeah, that was sort of a rule for paperbacks if it was in perfect condition, and a lot of hardcovers. If it's something that's still in print, 50%, it definitely was the norm for the price. But now it seems that a lot of things, once it goes out of print, Blu-rays and books, it's like goes right up there. There's a Blu-ray that I have on my wish list, but I want it, but I can't afford it. It's £30. But the thing is, once that, it's a limited edition because it's got a 100-page book with it. Once that goes out of print, you can guarantee within 5 or 6 months it'll be 150. People will be selling sealed copies for £150.
What is it? Maybe someone.
It's the Cabinet of Dr. Caligari. It's a new restoration and a box set, but it's got like 100-page booklet with it. And this is the great things of having, and this is the problem. They're putting out stuff as limited editions. So if you don't get it, they'll put it out again, but they'll put it out without the book and everything like that. So then to get the book, you have to pay £100 and some for it from a secondhand dealer.
I was worried you were going to say something like the Debbie Does Dallas box set, and that's why you were a bit reticent about saying it.
That's on my other wish list.
Yeah, Eric's right there about his mint condition being used. Mint.
Yeah, because mint is for coins, you know.
Steve, before we get back on, I marveled at Greg and Ollie talking about buying big lots of paperbacks on eBay without even knowing precisely what they were getting sometimes. Yeah, but I mean, if you get 100 books for $20, you know, there's going to be a few in there that probably makes it worthwhile.
There is some things people do because it's like I've seen Brandy do it, and I've seen other booktubers do this where they buy vintage science fiction. And you just get 20 books for like $8 or something like that, you know, plus some shipping. And it's sort of, I guess it is, you know, Russian roulette. But the thing is, it can be kind of fun to see what you get, you know. And that's and
if you take part in events like Garbage August and whatnot, then you're probably going to win anyway, aren't you?
Yeah, well, the price that Greg paid for his are pretty good. Like that's a good price, but like Ollie, he was talking about one that was £100 for 75 books, which is still, it depends on the condition, but it's still multi-price.
75 quid for 100 books.
No, it was £100 for 75, I think. Yeah. Well, either way, it's still a lot of money to throw out on all that kind of stuff. You know, and that's it, because usually when I see these bundles, I rarely buy the bundles because I look and I go, oh yeah, like I've only done it a couple times where I've wanted specifically 1 or 2 books and the rest are okay, because what they do is they'll put some good condition books in with ones that are just totally ratted, that I mean, like, you know, you can see the spines coming away, you know. So, and it's and here in the UK you don't get those kind of deals. Like it's like, you know, like you look on the American one and you'll see, because I'd love to get all the Edgar Rice Burroughs stuff again, and it's cheap there. But here, if you want to get it, you're talking £4 or £5 per book at least for a nice vintage copy.
That's only because English people are stupid enough to pay it. If they didn't, then it would be cheaper.
Potentially, yeah, but the thing is, there again, that comes into they call it rare because the American editions didn't get over here as much as the British ones, and the British editions are usually really ugly. The British editions have horrible cover art on them.
Talking about books or people?
Books in this case. But yeah, like a lot of that early stuff, but some of them are really good. Like some did I I don't have it here. Like for Faulkner in August, I've got one. It's a nice 1950s paperback, but it's badly made. It's stapled. It's a stapled paperback.
Let's crack on with the last book you've read. Let me just quickly do these last comments because it's not going to require much in terms of comment. Otherwise, Fine is also a well-worn oxymoron. Why wouldn't they just go to the Brattle sale? Well, why wouldn't they? I mean, as I said, I was even there in my dream. Maybe it was like lucid dreaming. Perhaps I actually.
Well, Steve, that Andrew Motion biography of
Princess Diana?
No, Philip Larkin.
Oh, Philip Larkin.
You look that up online, and you'll lay an egg.
So the last book you read, or the second book you actually read, was the same as actually the last book I read. So we go in very nicely. I do think it's freaky that you happen to be on the cover of your own book. So that was my cover, and I have to say I kind of like the cover because the I talked about it a bit yesterday, but on the back it it always gives like the small version of it, and that was the cover of the first edition. So they use it. So it's Phantom of the Opera by Gaston Leroux. We both finished it. Summer, if you're watching, you might want to, or if anyone else doesn't want a spoiler, because I don't know if we could be trusted. But what do you think of it?
I really liked it because this is the second reading of it. I read it a long time ago. I did forget about the humor, or I didn't get it the first time. I just didn't remember it. But I liked it. It's coming off reading, obviously, Dracula, where there's all the documents. And this is similar in a sense because there's letters, news reports, and verbal, communication. And he's piecing this all together. And I really liked it because there are conflicting things, and everybody's got their own vested interest in things. Like the Persian is very, he's very vested in this story. And
it did take a bit of a bizarre turn for me in that part with the Persian when they find themselves in the so-called torture chamber.
Yeah.
That was a bit bizarre. It was almost like a psychedelic, what's it? But like you, I thoroughly enjoyed it. And Summer, you just say you almost finished and it was a reread. I'm curious because you rated it very low on your first reading. Do you think that rating's going to change? So yeah, carry on, Sean. Sorry.
I really liked it. It's like you can see, like in the introduction here, he talks about all the sort of pastiches or prequels that people have made, because it's like, who is Eric? How did he get to the way he is? Physically.
I mentioned it yesterday because I did that little tea time live and I was talking about it because I hadn't finished it by then. And I was thinking, it's hard to have like a horror character called Eric. I mean, it doesn't strike you as Eric, does it? Oh, yeah, I'm Eric, the Phantom of the Opera. Oh.
Yeah, no, Phantom. That's why he doesn't say his name because it doesn't instill fear.
It doesn't, is it? I am the Phantom of the Opera. Ha ha ha! Hello, I'm Eric, the Phantom of the Opera. But there were some other things in it because I hypothesized if there was any kind of, because I said I hadn't finished, but I hypothesized yesterday if there's any kind of vampiric connection, because of course the Phantom makes a point of saying he sleeps in a coffin, and I thought, well, so maybe, but there wasn't. Maybe.
Well, the thing is, did he actually die? Was that his body that was?
Well, that's true. That's true. Who knows? But yeah, I just love the whole over-dramatic, melodramatic, operatic vibe to the whole thing. It perfectly lent itself to being, well, I would have said being turned into an opera, but I guess Andrew Lloyd Webber did the next best thing. But what was interesting was because the image of the Phantom of the Opera is everybody knows it, even if they've seen the play but it doesn't look like that at all from the book.
No, that's because he's just a skeleton with skin stretched over a skeleton.
Yeah, he's got a black mask when he wears one, and of course the famous thing is he's got like that half, and then you realize, again, spoiler alert, he was born that way. I always thought he had it suffered horrific disfigurement, in some disaster in the opera house. But no, he was just
it's like if you go back to the Lon Chaney one, it's a little that's a little closer, I guess, because he's got no nose and stuff, and his eyes look funny. Like I think Lon Chaney did a pretty good job of doing so. But just think, like think of back to the Mysteries of Paris, and when they're in the prison, and there was the skinny guy.
Yeah. That's true. So probably some influence there. Let's see a couple of comments here. Good to see you, Gola. Yeah, we're doing fine, thanks. I'm hoping everyone in the comments is as well. Aaron said it's like if Dracula was called Ian Dracula.
Yeah.
Hello, I'm Ian Dracula. Maybe up one, so it goes up from 2 stars to only 3 stars. Summer, I'm surprised. I thought I 5-starred it. I really enjoyed it. I mean, it has its moments, but I thought it was just great fun. It was almost like a Penny Dreadful, really.
Yeah, well, that's because a lot of his stuff, I think, is that kind of stuff. It was written. He just wrote for money, basically. He was a hack.
Yeah.
But but that doesn't mean it's not enjoyable. But the other thing that I found interesting was all these people in the book that work in the basements, in the cellars.
Yeah.
They are troglodytes, basically. They are in the dark all the time, and it reminded me of Metropolis. The workers, like putting on, like make it, like they're the ones that create everything for that. So I don't know if what's her name got that when she wrote the story. I can't think of her name, but anyway, Mrs. Lang, the second Mrs. Lang, after he killed his first wife, possibly.
Yeah, I mean, it was extremely interesting. I do have to pull it up because you said in a message to me that he said it's 25 stories. It's 17 stories. It says in my version of the book. Could be
no, and here it says 24. He does say 24 or 25.
That's really weird because in mine they say 17.
Yeah, there's different ones because when they're going down, but some near the end, it says 24 or 25 stories.
All right.
So yeah, so there's a different translation.
It's 80 meters tall.
Yeah.
And there is actually a man-made lake at the bottom of it. But yeah.
And it also sounds like, because of the size in the book, people actually live there.
Yeah, actually, Summer brings up a good one, which is this one here, the rat guy. Yeah, that was a bit bizarre.
Yeah.
He comes through with the fire and stuff, and the rats, and yeah.
They never had problems with that. So he's down there 24/7. He lives underground. Like all these people seem to live underground, and they got the horses. The stables are underground too.
Yeah, but I can't imagine. So those horses never see daylight, or unless there's some kind of. Well, they have. The bizarre thing is because they do talk about, even though they've gone underground, there's still some windows in some places. I'm not talking about the window looking in like the room, and then I don't remember.
Well, there's a gate. There's a gate that enters into where the lake is.
Yeah.
But that's weird because that's like the 5th layer down, isn't it? The third or 5th layer down. So it's got to be different.
30 meters of the Opera House is below ground.
Yeah,
it's quite a lot, really.
But the interesting thing is his house, like what they call a house. His house is inside the retaining wall foundation.
Yeah,
it's not outside. Like it's like there's this huge retaining wall that the architect built to keep the water out, and he sort of figured it out, and he built his house inside this wall.
Yeah. No, it's
and then honeycombed the whole building with trap doors, with passages, columns that he can go up and down in.
I'd love to get the annotated one you mentioned, just for this.
Yeah, I'm gonna get it.
So much interesting stuff just around the Opera House itself. I mean, I've been there a couple of times, but I never registered with me, Like,
well, the thing is, like the guy who did this one, the essential one, is Leonard Wolf. He was born in Romania, in Transylvania, in Vulcan, Transylvania. So he's the one that originally did
is that where Mr. Spock comes from then, or what?
possibly, he's got pointed ears. So, and he came back from the death. He dead too. So he could be a vampire.
I don't know why I'm so much darker than you here. I've got a light on in the background, but
well, I've moved some books, so I got lights streaming straight at me now. I can turn this and it'd be worse.
The natural light is a bit darker today because we've actually had some rain for like the first time in ages. So it's a bit better, isn't it? Just want to see how beautiful I look. Hair's a bit all over the place. So let me just have a quick butchers at the comments. But is Eric a Halferby? Yes. Summer says his mother made his first mask. Gareth says hello. Good to see you, Gareth. Summer says by Goodreads standards, 3 stars means you like it. Yeah. I really enjoyed it. MJ's here. Hi, MJ. Good to see you.
Hi.
Aaron says the chat's really making me want to watch it. Sounds like watch it. You mean read it, man? Read it.
Oh, wait, if you're gonna watch the silent one. The every other one pales in comparison to the silent version.
Parlebane says that the Terry Pratchett book Masquerade is a very funny take on Phantom of the Opera. So that could be interesting. And Gola's saying that they started reading Satan, His Psychotherapy and Cure by the Unfortunate Dr. Kassler. It's by Jeremy C. Levin, and you saw it on Pax Panic Review. Okay, I don't know it. It's not.
There's a lot of books called Satan. There's a really cool one. I think that's from the 40s or 50s that has really cool. I can't remember who's written it now, but I don't know. I don't think that's it.
All right. Okay, so that's Phantom of the Opera. I'm sure. I mean, are you going to do a book to film on that or something, or are you going to do a separate video on it? I'm thinking I might do. There's so much.
I'll do a separate video. I was sort of holding off because there was more than just me and you that was reading it, so I was holding off.
Who did your translation in that version?
That's Coward.
Noel Coward?
David Coward.
David Coward, which is how old then?
I'm going to need to turn this light on. 2012.
Oh, so it's actually a year newer than mine. Mine's Muriel Ribière, 2011. But she has I have to say, she has a very nice further reading section in this one. And there's a book I would quite like, I think, which is called, where is it? I think it's books about him. Oh, I can't find it now typically, but it's like here we go. There's the Waxwork Museum, translated by Alexander Peters, is featured in the Gaston Leroux Bedside Companion.
Oh yeah,
could be.
This is something I want to talk about. The Oxford one here. You got your standard book with the title page.
Yeah.
And on the back of that, you got the copyright page, which you can see there. Number, is it 9?
Yeah.
Yeah, number 9. And then you got the forward. You're going through Roman numeral 14, Roman numeral 15 is another title page. I mean, a copyright page. And it's printing 7. And they've screwed up. And Brandy has printing 10, and they still didn't correct it. It still has that in there.
Mine is 023, but this edition published 2012.
Yeah, well, this is like they just it's just a printing number. Like it's gone through. Mine is 9th printing, so it's an older copy, and then Brandy's got a newer copy. It could be 12th printing now. Who knows? I don't know.
Okay, so my I'll do it in reverse order, I suppose. So I've done my most recently finished. The next one before that was actually, if anyone watched me last week, watched us last week, I was talking about Josephine Tay's The Daughter of Time. And I went through and I listened to, because it's a wonderful, well worth one of your Audible credits, is a 65 hours worth of listening of the Alan Grant mysteries plus 2 other standalone mysteries by Josephine Tay on Audible. And I listened to the first one, finished that the other day, which is the Man in the Queue, or to my American friends, The Man in the Line, I suppose. It's a murder that takes place in the queue for a theater performance. It's a very crowded theater performance, and this woman moves away once she's bought her ticket, and the man behind her falls down, and they think he's fainted because of the crush, and they look and he's got a knife in his back. And it was actually very good. It was actually longer than I imagined, because like Daughter of Time is pretty short. I think it's under or just over 200 pages. This one was around 350, 360 something pages, but it was really interesting. I enjoyed it. You haven't read any of hers, have you?
No. I like there was a TV series. I'm sure there was a Inspector Grant's TV series at some point. I'm sure they did it, but I don't think I've read anything by her at all.
Well, it was very good, and the woman who did the reading, I have to say, was excellent as well. She was really nice and easy to listen to, and did some good accents as well. So yeah.
Oh, just to back up a little, I just want to say something about the translating. David Coward did most of the Alexander Dumas for Oxford World Classics.
Okay.
And so I found out yesterday they're doing a new translation of Proust.
Ah, well, there you go.
And they're putting out their own individual volumes of Sherlock Holmes. And the last one that's just come into the public domain will be out in September. So they've got individually their own. So that's the set to get, because Penguin are crap now. So in quality and quality of printing.
Elvis, stop it. That's not food. He's trying to eat his toy. Where are we? Oh yeah, that's Terry Pratchett. I was going to say something, forgotten completely. Yeah. Oh, you read The Man in the Queue too? Liked it, but thought it was impossible to guess the ending. Yeah, maybe. I thought it was. I thought it was just very well done. I like a book that keeps me guessing, because there are a couple of times I thought I got it and I didn't, and that's sometimes the hallmark of a good mystery. And I think it was her first one. I mean, I know it's the first in the Grant series. I don't know if it's her first foray into the mystery writing, but some congratulations are in order, because because Jenny's actually finished Dracula.
Oh yeah,
and obviously you loved it. I'm guessing it was a 5-star read on Goodreads. Yeah, don't sugarcoat it, Yuri.
It took me a long time, because I read like 5 other annotated editions with it.
Yeah, it would do, wouldn't it?
so it was like 4 or 5 times as long.
Okay, so the last book I've read, at least, which I really enjoyed, it's not quite moved into the #1 spot of books from this author, but it has occupied the number 2 spot, and that's My Cousin Rachel by Daphne du Maurier.
I haven't started that yet.
I read it with the Black Hearts Book Club, hosted by Very Literary Carrie, and a few others were in it. And it was excellent. I have to say, excellent. Really good. Everybody goes on and on about Rebecca, and Rebecca is good, like very good. Excellent even. But to me, this was better. But even better than this.
I was to say, these are nice covers.
Yeah. Have you got her signatures in it?
Where? And no.
Well, that's weird because I have a load of those from my mistaken foray into the world of books. What's it? Oh, damn it.
Well, this is the next library copy, mine, but it was only £1 something with shipping.
All right, because I've got a load of her stuff. And annoyingly, I wanted the same covers of the ones I already had, like, because I've got the Rebecca one, this My Cousin Rachel, which are the newer copies. Also Virago, it's the same press. And of course, you know what World of Books is like. I click on the ones that are the same, what's it, and I get, of course, the ones that are like yours. So I got like Rule Britannia, for example, and they have. Bizarrely, Rule Britannia doesn't have it, but some of them have. Yeah, look, some of them have actually her signature on these insets on the page, which is kind of bizarre. I mean, I thought someone had just put writing on them, but yeah. So he set off. What's her name? But I thoroughly enjoyed it. Still, for me, Jamaican's the best one. But My Cousin Rachel was definitely a close second, and Rebecca bringing up the rear there at third. Her short stories are wonderful. I think a lot of people seem to be, surprised when I say that she's written some. But she wrote quite a few, and a few of them have been filmed. I mean, she wrote The Birds, of course, which Hitchcock filmed, and she also wrote that Don't Look Now as a short story, which was Donald Sutherland, isn't it? And Julie Christie. And actually, the short story is pretty scary. Actually, I found it a bit disturbing.
By the way, that's on my wish list. The Blu-ray.
Don't Look Now.
What? It's there. It's on my wish list.
What? Don't Look Now or The Birds?
Not The Birds. I didn't. Like, there's 2 Hitchcock films that I think are absolutely dreadful. Is The Birds and Trouble with Harry, that I think are quite dreadful.
I was worried you were going to say Rear Window, and that's one of my favorite.
No, Rear Window is really good.
Strangers on a Train is awesome as well, though.
What?
Strangers on a Train. Crisscross. Yeah. So. Yeah, but as I said, I did get quite a bunch of them, but it is annoying because some of them, are in these covers, and then the others are like in the covers you've got, which are fine. They are nice. They are nice covers, but it's just annoying when you want to have them. I mean, that's brand new. That has not been cracked. It's completely brand new.
But it's hard to know. It's hard to know with them what you're going to get.
Yeah. So I can't complain with that. Flight of the Falcon, which again is in the cover I wanted originally.
Did Virago do all?
Sorry?
Have they reprinted all of her stuff, Virago?
Yeah. Yeah, you can get everything. If you look on their website, they list everything by her, and they've got tons of stuff. I mean, they've got even the biographies she wrote of I don't know if it's Gerald or George that she writes about, but she does biographies on well-known du Mauriers. She does a couple of biographies on is it Francis Bacon? or John D, one of those two. I can't remember. And then, she's just got so much. And there's actually some, Du Maurier science fiction. Because from what I understand, I haven't read it yet. House on the Strand is time travel novel.
I didn't know.
And then Rule Britannia is an alternate history. Because you see it's called Rule Britannia there, but there's an American flag on the house, and it's this Emma wakes up one morning to an apocalyptic world. The cozy existence she shares with her grandmother, a famous retired actress, has been shattered. There's no post, no telephone, no radio, and an American warship sits in the harbor. As the two women piece together clues about the friendly military occupation of on their doorstep, family, friends, and neighbors gather around to protect their heritage. In this chilling novel of the future, Du Maurier explores the implications of a political, economic, and military alliance between Britain and the United States. So it'd be very interesting. But she's great, I have to say. She is.
I've only read 3 or 4. I'm hoping I can get to this this month.
It's worth
but
it.
You've dragged me into 2 other things this month, so I don't know.
I have. Although I don't have it with me. But one, of course, we're starting on Sunday, Monday is this one, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know if could be Monday. It's probably more like Tuesday or Wednesday that I'll read it.
And then the other one you probably have next to you, we have the same edition. So you might as well get yours out if you've got it there.
Is it?
I don't think I've got mine here. No, I haven't. Cover them up. And that could also be Sunday, Monday, or it might just be on Wednesday. I haven't decided yet.
Oh, Mikey, this week? Oh, shit.
Well, maybe.
I'm already behind. I have to use the weekend to catch up what I haven't done this week.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, because I'm actually reading. I don't know if you're actually reading anything at the moment or everything you've been reading is finished. But I'm still reading Elmore Leonard's Complete Westerns, and they are great. But what I'm absolutely loving, and you haven't read this, have you, Sean? I don't think. But it's absolutely wonderful, is Lonesome Dove.
No, I haven't read anything by Larry McMurtry.
Now,
I never read the book, or I didn't want it because I did not like the series. I thought it was really bad. So.
Well, I have to say, I mean, I was quite young when this series came out, and I remember being on, but I can't really tell you anything that happened. I mean, for the longest while, I always thought it was Kenny Rogers in there because Tommy Lee Jones looks like him with his long white hair and all that stuff. But everybody goes on and on. It's the greatest Western ever written, and and I don't know about you, but I often roll my eyes when people say that. But I have to say, it's really good. It's really good.
It's got to be very different from the series, because if it's like the series and it has the same thing, then I won't think that. But I want to read it at some point, but I don't have a copy.
You get dropped right into it though. Like, someone was saying that it started off pretty slow and all this, but I don't think so. I mean, okay, there's not like a huge amount of action. I don't even think if I can. Well, there's been a little bit of action, let's say, and a little bit of shooting, but there's been no huge amount of gunfighting and all that stuff. They refer to stuff that they've done in the past and whatever, but you just feel like you're one of the gang. He's really clever at I actually wake up thinking about these guys in the morning and stuff, and wondering what's going to happen next. And the characters are just so well crafted. It really is wonderful, I have to say. And I'm not even a third of the way through it yet. Well, maybe coming up to it, I suppose. I don't know, but it is excellent. What have we got in the comments? Mark, where do you think? Number 1 for me. Number 1, Jamaica in. World of Books are terrible. Yeah, Yeah. Yeah. And then when you get done with the customs, that Rule Britannia book cost me 17 quid. So
There is a way, World of Books, if you get one that says they have different warehouses, and one warehouse actually, when they say very good, and they say that there's no damage to the spine or no creases and stuff like that, no writing on the inside, and I would say when I was buying from them, 8 out of 10 were that or better. And then when it wasn't, I just said, you did not describe, you sent me the wrong book. And it's probably because they've got more than one copy of a book in different grades, and they've got some numpty that doesn't even look and just grabs it off the shelf. So they probably have one that's an ex-library one, and it was probably priced for 10p, and they probably got my copy that I paid more for, So that's one way to do it, and I've been pretty good. It's just the thing that I have issue now with is they just ship it in a plastic baggie.
Even internationally?
Yeah. Well, that's what thrift books in the U.S. was. Everybody told me, oh, they package well. And every time I got ex-libraries, and they were bashed to hell.
I have to say, why do you call it a baggie? I just don't. It's the whole. To me, that's shades of panty.
No, it's like a baggie. So you put it's a small bag.
It's a plastic bag. It's a plastic bag. Like panties are pants. Why do I'm not having to go at my dear American friends, but why do you have to make them sound like childish and creepy?
No, it identifies it more because it's a bag. Like a bag, usually something that's big. It's a bag. It's a tiny bag.
They shipped me 5 in one bag. Wasn't that small?
Well, in that case, yeah, but usually it's one book.
So why say baggie? Just say a small plastic bag.
Yeah, well, then that's how many words?
You North Americans. We love you too, Elvis. Oh, thank you. Yeah, he had his birthday this week. He was 6 on Tuesday.
What you just? So Jenny hasn't said what she thought of Dracula.
Yeah, I'm getting there.
Oh, okay.
Oh, maybe I've skipped it. Yeah, well, no, not really, actually. Just said I kept getting bored, but once it got to Lucy's death, I was hooked. Gave it 4 stars. Okay, well, that's all right then. Summer's favorite du Mauriers are the first 2 short stories from the Birds collection, and then Jamaica Inn. Yeah, but Summer, did you finish the rest of that collection? We don't realize Elvis is giving us. Yeah, well, he really enjoyed it. House on the Strand is sci-fi. Lee asks, "Hi Lee, good to see you. Did she also write a bio on Branford Austin?" I'm not sure. Oh well, you say you've got it. So, House on the Strand could be something for Gareth's exploration of time travel. Aaron read something when he was a kid and it freaked him out. Of course, now I don't really know what it was. Maybe it was House on the Strand, no, or something else. Is it Bramwell? It's Bramwell Bronte, isn't it? Yeah, I thought that. Lee's tired of hearing about Lonesome Dove. Yeah, well, I've never read it before, and again, I just get don't like those kind of things when everyone's like it's the best ever, but it is actually really good. Willa Cather, not your cup of tea. Summer liked the miniseries.
I just remember there was too much. It was like very soap opera-y. Like it just seemed very much soap opera. The way it was, they were really trying to twist your emotions, and not well.
I don't know. I mean, my 2 favorite characters are these 2 pigs that live on the ranch. So, Summer, small bag is baggy, and so I lose clothing. Yes, yes, but not for me, Summer. I don't know. To me, small bag,
Yeah, it's
baggy.
2 words. It's 2 words.
Yeah,
It, it's,
but
a,
baggy,
it's the thing
small
when you're
bag,
printing. Yeah, when you're
baggy. It's the same.
no, it's 2 words.
Yeah,
And
but
and
it's
when you print, if you let me finish, when you are printing, I think of how many letters there are. It's the same as using color, CLOOR. And when you do all this stuff, it makes a big difference in printing to do this kind of stuff.
not
And
these
that's
days. It
part
doesn't.
one of the reasons why.
Not these days. It doesn't.
It's still the same number of lines on the page.
Yeah, but come on. I mean, it doesn't mean that they're suddenly going to start. We're going to start using Americanisms just because they're shorter.
They do. They are cropping in. They are in books. The spellings are you get both in books now. You'll see American spellings and British spellings in one book that's printed here.
Not
Where
my book.
they used to change the spelling. It's like for tire, in the UK, TRY, no, TYRE, and then TIRE. They would change it in for the US.
Yeah, but that doesn't take up any extra space.
No. But we went on from that. We moved on.
Yeah, I don't agree with it personally. You
What?
know, changing the spellings. I mean, if we, it's not a problem for me to read if a book's
I'm not
American.
saying to change it, but I'm saying that's one of the reasons why things like that were done, because it's less words. It's less words, not syllables, but less words.
I mean, if a book is American, keep it American. If the book's British, keep it in British. But yeah, I don't know. No, it's weird. Baggy can mean drugs in the UK, so probably won't catch on there. Geo Craftsman uses British American spelling intermittently. Don't even think about it. I don't have a favor. Right. Okay.
Yeah, I use both at times because I think it was where I was brought up, like listening to American radio and TV.
Sorry, I think I've been bitten by a mosquito. That's why you can see me doing something bizarre here. Ow.
And that's where you can get infected. And if it's on your leg, that's where you can get cellulitis.
Oh, charming. Well, luckily I'm not actually scratching it. I'm kind of rubbing it. Fewer words, not less words. There's always one. The grammar police are in town. Yeah, well, I suppose that's it, isn't it?
Yeah, well, what are you going to be reading for the week?
Lonesome Dove. Lonesome Dove and Brideshead Revisited, Elmore Leonard's Complete Western Stories, and possibly I, Claudius as well. And maybe another Alan Grant, because I really think that was a good bargain. The audio.
You'll listen, not read. Okay.
Consume. I'm going to consume the book in some form. I don't disagree with you. I don't think listening to an audiobook is not the same as reading. However, in easy terms, it's a book that I finished this week that I listened to, and something I'm going to read this week will also be one audiobook. Yeah, but it will be.
Well, I got to catch up. I got to read this Buntline. It's a short one. Read JC on the Dude Ranch, a short story with Jesus Christ with a massive schlong. That's the thrust of the story.
Oh,
and then on Sunday I'll be reading well, Zane Grey, possibly rereading Riders of the Purple Sage. And then after that will be the Anthony Powell Dance to the Music of Time. Then maybe that's where I'll fit in the whatchamacallit, Brideshead, and then I cycle back through. I do Louis L'Amour, Sackett, one of these, and one of the two of the others. So that's why I'm behind. I should be starting those on the weekend here now.
Have you given any thought yet? I know it's early because it's still only the well, not the first week, but still early in June. But have you started to give over any thought to potential candidates for BookTube at War?
Yeah, I got that. It's short stories.
I know that, but the viewers might not.
Yeah, well, I already did it. I think it's future war stories that are written in the sort of late 1800s or maybe even earlier, up into like First World War, future war stories, and they'll be just short stories because July is going to be my catch-up month because I still got to catch up on my Zola, my Strangers and Brothers, one of those, about 2 Zola I think I need to catch up on, and no, Sackett I'll be coming up this month because I'm doing 4 of them this month. Yeah, Hornblower is another one. I got to fit Hornblower in somewhere this month of what I should have done 2 months ago. So yeah, so that's and probably going to be buddy reading with Gareth, Clockwork Man.
I'm sorry, man.
An early proto science fiction novel.
Yeah, I think Gareth and I have one coming up in November, maybe.
Well, I want to do Mosquito Coast if you're going to do that.
Yeah, we were talking about that last week. We should do that. I think that seems like a summer book.
Yeah, I'd like to reread that, and possibly if I can get the Connie Willis volumes. But yeah, there's a lot there, so I don't know if I will be able to do this.
But as I said, I don't think you need them. They're not. I think they work as standalones, though. So it's not. I think it's not like they're not the same characters in it. I don't think. If you like the same universe.
So.
Sorry.
I don't have either of them, so. And I don't know. Are you gonna like if I do get to wherever that is, I Claudius. Are you gonna read Claudius the God?
Yeah, probably. I don't know if we'll read it straight through though. I'm not sure because I've got Augustus as well by John Williams. I want to read at some point. So there's so much to read. This is why I don't understand how you can be doing all these rereads. You know, I look at all the stuff I've got to read for the first time. I mean, obviously, you must have just read a shit ton more than me the first time around if you're rereading it. But part of me is I just don't feel I have the luxury, if you like, to reread as much as you.
Well, I'm reading stuff that I haven't read. But yeah, that's why I'm doing the 60 by 60. If nobody's seen, go to my video and suggest I'm going to read 60 books that I haven't read by the time I'm 60, which gives me almost 3 years, and 20 of them, a third of them I want people to suggest to me. Ones
you hadn't read My Cousin Rachel. You haven't read My Cousin Rachel.
Correct.
And you haven't read I Claudius yet, have you?
Oh, I've read it, yeah.
Oh, you have read it, okay. I didn't know then. There's a couple. There was one or two of the French ones you haven't read though. You hadn't read the Guy de Maupassant one that we're doing, I think, and you haven't read
Charterhouse of Parma. That's what I gotta make up to in hopefully July.
Worth it though. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was good. And it's not.
And I can't remember if I've read Dangerous Liaisons. I'm not sure if I have or not.
It's
I can't remember.
it's an epistolary novel.
Yeah, I know, but I can't remember. That's one I'm not sure of. It's something that I should have, but I might not have.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, so much to read, so little time. Let's see what have we got here. Geocast, I recently got a collection of Martin Hewitt detective stories. I'm wanting to read some of them this weekend. Thank you, Dover. So Dover's the publisher, I'm assuming in this instance. Gareth's looking forward to The Clockwork Man, and Mosquito Coast is definitely one that Gareth wants to read as well. So yeah, I think we'll have to arrange that. That'd be fun to do a reading of Mosquito Coast. And Summers started reading Sacagawea. Is it Sacagawea or Sacagawea? I never know exactly how you say it.
I've already pronounced it Sacagawea, but yeah,
Sacagawea.
I don't know if the pronunciation.
So yeah, and now is that like a biography or is that a historical fiction novel?
I keep looking at a book that Summer put me onto. It's called Ride the Wind. It's another fictional account of Cynthia Ann Parker, and I keep looking at that and go, can I fit that in this month as on top of everything else?
Yeah, I mean, I've neglected Historathon this month. I do have some stuff to read, but I haven't. I didn't mention it in my TBR videos because I realize now they're just getting too big and too long, and I'm just too afraid of failure to mention them. So it's better to like mention them in the Friday reads once I read them, rather than announcing beforehand I'm going to read all of these.
Yeah, I it's not often, because if things go well with my reading, I figure out what I can actually read, and it's like there's nothing more. I mean, it's not more than I can, and there's usually room for maybe another book per week as well, or sometimes two. But I never have. It's rarely now that I have a week that is a perfect reading week anymore, because I like the books that I'm doing here. I should easily be able to do 6 books in a week. Of all these books that I have, I should be easily do 6, maybe 7, because they're 2 short ones. But I can't. It's just my health is not allowing it,
Well,
and I think it's going to be the way for the rest of the summer.
Well, my reading output and video making output should increase over the next 2 months at least. Yeah, because I won't be working, which is something. So that should help. But yeah, I am going to have to kind of undergo my own kind of 500 books challenge or something, because I'm going to be pretty poor soon, with paying them more, because I'm going to have this period, Sean, where I'm going to have to pay like the mortgage and my rent, and of course all the other stuff to get with the house before I can eventually move there, settle down, and then only have to deal with the mortgage, which will be like paying the rent. But you can imagine having to pay rent on, well, basically what amounts to rent on
but that's only for a couple. That would only be for a couple of months, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but it's still a kick in the balls.
Yeah, but I'm saying it's not. You're not going to be able to read 500 books in 2 months.
Well, no, but I mean, obviously, like mortgage repayments will be double what my rent is at the moment, right? So my book buying will decrease because the money I've saved only paying rent as opposed to the mortgage payment, which is double, is obviously going to eat into that a bit, right? So, but it doesn't matter. I've got so much to get through. But the problem is, I keep looking at things like James Michener and thinking now, do I want all those in physical form? Do I buy them now quickly, or should I just make do with them in ebook? And the thing is, they are such big books. A lot of them, I know I'm luckier than you that I can read, and I do actually quite often read ebook. In fact, to be honest with you, even Lonesome Dove, I'm back and forth. Yeah, when I'm in bed, I'm on the ebook, and when I'm out and about, I'm reading it, because it's not that small.
Yeah, I got 3 Michener ones that are on my list. I've got The Source, and I've got The Covenant, and Space. Those are the only ones. But if I do like if we do this next year, if I join in every month. I've got 12 that I want to do, but I'll probably just, if I still short of money, I'll just buy shitty copies that are just readable copies that are £2 or £3, just a couple pounds.
Yeah.
Do it month by month.
Lee asked me if I'll donate those books. No, Lee, absolutely not. I won't. And there's a very good reason for that, because whereas you're supporting your local used bookstore, people aren't gonna, nobody wants. Well, there are probably a few people who would be happy to have some English books, but it's such a rarity to be able to have them. They cost so much that I'm gonna keep them because I'll probably reread them. I'm stuck in a foreign country, which isn't, don't have English as their first language. English books are a lot.
You're doing this again. You just put up
No, I didn't. It's just when I was clicking on it, it popped up, so I clicked off it. I didn't want to show the comment yet because I hadn't got to it.
Oh, okay.
It's like I clicked like that, and then another one popped up, so I clicked off it because I wanted to finish my point. So, where are we up to? Yes, it's historical fiction. Summer last read it in 1998. Jenny asks,
which one? Which one is that?
Sacagawea. Is it any good, Summer? Yeah. She's at the very beginning, but she's loving it. 20 books with that title, so quite popular. Summer, if we did a 100-book challenge only last year, whoever loses has to read the winner's book of choice. Now would be the perfect time, since next month is your birthday, Mike. It is indeed my birthday next month. That's right. Yeah. Oh, Christ. Yeah, I need to announce it. Right, Sean? Got to get a month in. In case people forget. I'd actually forgotten until someone said it, but yeah, it's true. Yeah, I don't know though. It's tough, these challenges are not really for me because I like the idea of like trying to be good. Like I have been good. This month I got nothing. And I'm fine with that. But of course, yeah, next month. Well, the problem is the end of this month, Alma Books is bringing out another Goncharov. And it's called, I think it's The Uncommon Story. And what it is, it's a non-fiction, but it's based on the letters and journals and the big public feud and lifelong argument that Goncharov had with Turgenev, because he accused Turgenev of stealing his work. Yeah, so it should be kind of.
Oh, that reminds me. I came across another book that I think is from the 19th century about a writer going to the city or something like that, and I thought there's a nice triumvirate there to do.
Mm. Yeah, that would be good. You don't remember the name? It's German.
Yeah, I think it's German. I've got it noted somewhere. I mean, or saved on either Amazon on a wish list, or I use my basket in eBay for that. So, and then usually I max it out and I got to get rid of stuff because they're sitting there for so long and I can't buy them, but it's for me to remember them.
Well, it's quite nice because I reconnected recently with an old schoolmate. I mean, we were quite a small year at school, and we weren't like best buddies at school, but we obviously knew each other. And he reconnected with me on Twitter, and we've been talking. And he I don't know how exactly. I think he found, he saw the link to my YouTube channel, and he started watching my videos, and he was very, very complimentary and nice about it all. And it's got him into reading again, and he keeps asking me periodically, what to read and stuff. And he's I think one of the videos he saw was the one I put out about Lost Illusions and The Same Old Story. And he actually went ahead and got it, and he was saying how much he really enjoyed it. Yeah, but then he went off to read The Same Old Story by Goncharov. And then he went off and tried Master and Margarita, but I think that wasn't necessarily for him. But we were talking about Westerns, and I said, oh, he should try True Grit, and he's enjoying that. So I think it's really nice that somebody I didn't speak to really for like 20 years, and now we're talking about books. So it's kind of good fun. Where's my birthday wish? Well, I have a wish list on all my videos anyway, but it's not a birthday one. But you give me an ideally, maybe I should make a birthday wish list. Yes, that could be a good idea. Yeah, maybe. What have we got here? Jenny, it's by Anna Lee Waldo. It's a chunker, over 1,000 pages. Oh, that's Sachagawea again. Ken Follett's got a new book out in September. Jenny's going to add Sacagawea to her wish list. Trying to get out of reading mostly fantasy and sci-fi. Yeah, I mean, give some historical fiction a go, Jenny. There's some really good ones out there. And Summer, are you going to be reading any more of the Shard Lake series? Geo Castman, I wonder if Swoop by P.G. Woodhouse would be good for BookTube. Oh, well, yeah, might be.
Swoop.
Yeah. It's it is a war.
Long time. Yeah.
Sorry?
No, I'm just saying that I was thinking for a minute Scoop, but that's Evil in War.
Evil in War, yeah. I can't remember. It's is it see, the funny thing is I picture the the cover of it, like some soldiers with the Union flag and whatever, but I can't remember if it's one of those alternate history.
Well, the thing is, Brideshead we should be reading in July for
well, yeah.
Could or read his trilogy, Decline. What is it? Decline and Fall, and what are the other ones? There's the war one.
Invasion fiction. That's what I'm thinking of.
And then another one that'd be a good one would be Siegfried Sassoon's
Diaries of Fox Hunting.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah.
I was thinking, but it's not real though, is it? It's based, but it's not. It is a fictional memoir.
It's fictional, yeah. Well, I always took it as fictional, but
yeah, no,
it's memoir-ish, I guess.
But I'm gonna do the whole. I'm gonna do those. What's his name? RF Delphi. Yeah. I'm gonna do that for sure, and I'm gonna do the other one I got. I think.
Are you gonna be listening to?
Yeah, definitely. Because I read like the first 20 pages on ebook and thought I've fallen in love with this book and I need to own it.
It is good. It is good.
You could just tell, even after 20 pages, I could tell this is going to be a book I'm going to love.
See, what I'd like to get is, which I haven't read, is the Avenue story. The Dreaming Suburb
and then the Avenue at War. Yeah, I was thinking about those as well. I should add them to the birthday wish list.
Well, I got to add them too because I want to read those. So all of a sudden, my July catch up is disappeared now.
But Sean, just be like the Queen used to be. Have 2 birthdays. Have your official one and your unofficial one. What was I going to say? But yeah, no, I just thought it seemed such a wonderful, definitely.
Oh, it is fabulous. It's Goodbye, Mr. Chips on steroids.
Yeah.
That's what it is. And I love Goodbye, Mr. Chips. I can't even think of his friggin' name now.
I can't either. Scottish name, isn't it? No.
A Lost Horizon.
Matheson. No.
No.
Oh, what's his name? Hilton. No.
Hilton.
Jesus.
Yeah, it is something like Hilton, isn't it? but yeah, it's Goodbye, Mr. Chips on speed.
That's Robert Donut.
Yeah, I knew his son. He's a
James Hilton. Yeah, there we go. James Hilton.
Hilton, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
he's Czech,
isn't he? Robert Donut?
Is he? No, he's Canadian.
Is he?
Well, that's where he wound up. His son is a distributor in Toronto, or was.
Friedrich Robert Donat, Withington, Manchester, England, died in London, England.
Somehow there's a Canadian connection because his son's there.
That's funny because he was. Yeah, it says he's actually a civil engineer of German origin from Prussian Poland, which is basically 10 minutes up the road here. So, yeah. I don't know. But because we have the name, yeah, in this area. So it probably is a Sudeten German name, but yeah. I can't remember. There was something else I was going to mention, and I've forgotten. But Goodbye, Mr. Chips would be nice to read.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice and short. It's I reread it every so often. That's the thing. When I did my sort of 10 reread books, it's like I hadn't reread it in quite a while, and there's only one on there that I haven't reread in the last 2 years, and that was Lord Jim, because I keep looking at it and wanting to reread it again, and so I put that one on. So I cheated there, but everything else was stuff that I've reread in last year. See, this could have been on there too. This will be probably the 5th or 6th time I've read it, I think, since I picked it up. I picked it up in a dime bin in Canada. It was 10 cents, and I didn't know what it was. Like I had read Goodbye, Mr. Chips, and I go, oh, it's a Goodbye, Mr. Chips book.
You know what, though? Maybe this is the BookTube event we should do. It's like an academic one. You think of all these wonderful books set around academia. I'm not talking about this newer dark academia stuff. I mean, like, I read recently. Huh?
Porterhouse Blue.
Well,
Lucky Jim.
I just read Lucky Jim last month with Sonia again. That was a reread. One of my rereads.
The Light in the Dark, and the Masters by C.P. Snow.
And Stoner we read as well, which was excellent. Have you read Stoner?
No.
Very good. But yeah, Tom Brown's School Days even. Think of all the boarding school / university / books that are out there. It could be great fun. We've already got August of Adventure. We can't really have August of Academia as well, can we? But September. We can throw Dictember away, and we could have like back to school reading event in September.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. Yeah. So save that till then.
Yeah, could do. Yeah, because I've got.
It's
fun. Yeah, back to school in September. Back to school reading. A whole September read stuff to do with schools. And
see what anybody says. I don't know how many people are still here, but if
2 or 3. 26.
26. Wow.
Oh, yeah. So let's not neglect them though. Summer's got all the Shard Lake series, but hasn't read them yet. Yeah,
Never read any.
Brilliant. The Spaminator's here. Hey, I ate beans for lunch and then went to a thrift store on my lunch break and crop dusted the elderly. Wow. What did you miss? Well, quite a lot actually. It's Gola says the elderly do it to us. Yeah, talking about breaking wind there. BookTube Academia book event Tweed Patch Timber. That's a nice one. Joe Castman, like that.
Yeah.
Oh, we can do Tom Brown's. Did I mention Tom Brown's School Days again? Yeah, we could do that. Yeah. Brilliant. Oh, there's so much.
There's some other ones that are. There's too many. That's the problem. There's too many.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Dorothy
I like
Althea.
Patch Timber.
Sorry?
A Patch Timber. That's really good. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to get some arm patches for ourselves, and yeah, I'm trying to think. There's one on the tip of my tongue, and I can't for the life of me think which one it is I'm trying to think of.
Well, there's so many, but well, like you could do the school stories. Well, you could Bunter. What is it, Billy Bunter?
Yeah, Just
And you
William.
could, yeah, Just William. Well, yeah,
No, he's not really in school, is he? But yeah.
Yeah, but you could do the early Woodhouse ones.
Yeah. That's true. That's true. Well, Steve's actually in academia. He teaches at a university. So there you go. We could read your memoir, Steve. Part of the event.
Yeah, no, that like I got to look up that author that he did, because I never heard of him. I think he said in an email that it's all out of print now. But Second World War author. I have to look at the email. I've forgotten the name.
Lord Peter Wimsey. Dorothy L says, isn't it? Spaminator. Now I've got that out of my system. Tee hee hee. I need you guys to explain Conrad. Oh, I don't know if we've got time. Well, actually, it's not that complicated. I would say not what you expect. Everybody's like, oh, he's old racist, but he's not at all. It's quite different if you read it right. Red Heart Darkness didn't get the hype. What am I missing? What do you love about him? I love the fact that he's, what do you love about him, Sean?
I like that he goes like deep into things, like especially Lord Jim is so, like, it's one person who makes a mistake and tries to correct it, like make amends for it, and the lengths that he goes to do that, and that his word means something.
Well, I admire the fact that he's regarded, or very highly regarded, for his writing, like his style of writing or his use of English. When you think that he's not even an English speaker, I don't even think English isn't even his second language. I think it was like his third or fourth language.
Yeah, well, speak to Steve. Steve thinks he's a terrible writer. At least I've heard him say that.
No account of taste, of course. We mean Donahue, of course, not this Steve. Dan Villani is the one you're thinking. Yeah. So. Right, well, ladies and gents, and all in between, I'm going to have to go. I'm absolutely knackered, exhausted, tired, and yeah, it's time for my beddy buys. 9 o'clock, pathetic. Friday night, 9 o'clock, go to bed. So next week, Sean, on your channel.
Yep.
Is there anything you'd like to add before we depart?
Oh well, I have. Well, I'll say it here. I'm going, because I can't remember who suggested it. If they're here, remind me to do a CIMAC thing. I'm doing that in September as well.
I think it was.
Can't remember who suggested that, but
I want to say it was me.
No, it wasn't.
Well, no, it was partly. I forget. It was someone in the comments, and we were saying, "Oh, what a great idea!" And I think we kind of came up with it at a similar time, because CIMAC in September or something, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, I am going to do it, and I'm going to default to City. So just in case anybody wants to get the book, City.
So you're not doing Mastodonia, Mammathonia. What's it called? Cat. What is it? Yeah, that one.
No, that's not a good one to do. So I think, because I can talk a lot more about City.
Yeah, I think we'll just give a quick plug as well to to Gareth, who's doing his live tonight at 11 your time. Sean, I'll be in bed and asleep. Sorry, Gareth. Midnight for me. But
Yeah,
it's
starts. I screwed up my sleeping by binge watching Picard when I got free Prime. So, and I think that spiraled into me being not well this week. So by 11, I'm crawling to my bed.
But to celebrate his 800, is it, Gareth? I think subscribers I saw. Yes, thank you so much, Lee. Good night to you too. Wow, knowing where you are, of course, it is probably just coming up to afternoon. So good afternoon. Yeah, well, don't do it again, Spaminator. Yuri seems excited at the prospect of Simac. Thank you, Summer. Have a great afternoon yourself. And yes, I won't forget Steinbeck September. I haven't forgotten. But, you know, we're not going to read the complete works of Steinbeck in September. So, you know.
Oh, God. Now I'm going to have to reread. It's been on my list. It's even on. There's a facsimile edition of Grapes of Wrath that is really nice. And that's on my wish list because I want to reread that.
Yeah, well, you know. There's so much going on.
This is the problem. This is the problem that, you know, it's like, do I just forget about those things and do my own thing, but then I'll wind up reading it later anyway. So it's sort of nice doing it when other people are doing it.
Yeah. What was I going to say? Forgotten. Okay. Yeah, that is the one we're reading, indeed. Good. Yeah, you're welcome. No worries. And there we have it. Okay, thank you, everybody. Have a great afternoon, day, night, whatever. And we'll see you next week on Sean's channel. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.